Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shabbat from Saprayashna Stotar Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Char Beauty Founder Char Jaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Shabbat from Saprayashna Stotar Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Maharaj Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Antakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se ko Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Marpur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Marni Ki Jai Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtanam Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, titled Parikshit Cursed by a Brahmana Boy. Text number 14. Ko nama tripyed rasavid kathayam. Ko nama tripyed rasavid kathayam. Mahatameikanta parayanasya. Mahatameikanta parayanasya. Nantam gunanam agunasya jagmur. Nantam gunanam agunasya jagmur. Yogeshvaraye bhava padma mukyaha. Yogeshvaraye bhava padma mukyaha. Ko nama tripyed rasavid kathayam. Mahatameikanta parayanasya. Nantam gunanam agunasya jagmur. Yogeshvaraye bhava padma mukyaha. Ko nama tripyed rasavid kathayam. Mahatameikanta parayanasya. Nantam gunanam agunasya jagmur. Yogeshvaraye bhava padma mukyaha.
Jagmur Yogeshwaraye Bhavapadmukhya Konamatripye Trasavit Katayam
Mataji's. Magunasya Jagmur Yogeshwaraye Bhavapadmamukhyaha. Word for word translation. Ka. Who is he? Nama. Specifically. Tripyet. Get full satisfaction. Rasavit. Expert in relishing. Mellow nectar. Katayam, in the topics of Mahatama, the greatest amongst the living beings. Ekanta, exclusively. Parayanasya, of one who is the shelter of. Na, never. Antam, end. Gunanam, of attributes. Agunasya, of the transcendence. Jagmu, could ascertain. Yoga Ishvaraha, the lords of mystic power. Ye, all they. Bhava, Lord Shiva. Padma, Lord Brahma. Mukhyaha, heads. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the person I have guarded, Lord Krishna Govinda, is the exclusive shelter for all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar rasa ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him? Purport: Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are two chiefs of the demigods. They are full of mystic powers. For example, Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison, of which one drop was sufficient to kill an ordinary living being. Similarly, Brahma could create many powerful demigods, including Lord Shiva. So they are Ishwaras, or lords of the universe. But they are not the supreme powerful. The supreme powerful is Govinda, Lord Krishna. He is the transcendence, and his transcendental attributes cannot be measured even by such powerful Ishwaras as Shiva and Brahma. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the exclusive shelter of the greatest of all living beings. Brahma is counted amongst the living beings, but he is the greatest of all of us. And why is the greatest of all living beings so much attached to the transcendental topics of Lord Krishna? Because he is the reservoir of all enjoyment. Everyone wants to relish some kind of taste in everything. But one who is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can derive unlimited pleasure from such engagement. The Lord is unlimited, and his name, attributes, pastimes, entourage, variegatedness, etc. are unlimited. And those who relish in him can do so unlimitedly and still not feel satiated. This fact is confirmed in the Padma Purana. Ramante yogino anante satyananda chidatmani iti rama pade nasau param brahma vidiyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personal Godhead, is also known as Rama. There is no end to such transcendental discourses. In mundane affairs, there is the law of satiation, but in transcendence, there is no such satiation. Sutta Goswami desired to continue the topics of Lord Krishna before the sages of Naimisharanya, and the sages also expressed their readiness to hear from him continuously. Since the Lord is transcendent and his attributes are transcendental, such discourses increase the receptive mood of the purified audience. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurulmanitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So, this chapter is titled Parikshit, Cursed by a Brahmana Boy. But at the start of this chapter, we're seeing a small discussion between Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya. At the moment, we're reading how the sages of Naimisharanya, they're encouraging Sutta Goswami to continue describing the glories, of Krishna. And in the last few verses, we've seen how they're trying to encourage him by talking about the glories of Krishna Katha. And in today's verse, they're saying how talks about Krishna is transcendental, so there's no satiation. We can never grow tired of hearing about Krishna. So that's the main theme of today's purport. Also before that, Prabhupada is explaining, or the verse itself explains how Krishna's glories, they're unlimited. And even great Ishwaras like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they have such great mystic yoga power. But even Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they can never come to the end of Krishna's glories. And Prabhupada was explaining to Prabhupada how Krishna is way higher than Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. And so we'll discuss on these 2 points today. So first we'll start how Prabhupada starts off the purport. Prabhupada explains how Krishna is, although Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they might be very great personalities, Krishna is a lot greater than them. And we see many instances in the Shastra, like especially Bhagavatam, how Krishna shows his superiority over Shiva and Brahma. So Shiva, obviously, we see, the pastime of Mohini Murti, how Shiva, he understood that Krishna had taken this form, of a lady, and Shiva desired to see, and he came and asked Vishnu, can you please show me that form? I'm very much interested to take darshan, And then when Vishnu then manifested Mohini Murti form, then we saw how Shiva got completely bewildered and lost himself. And obviously in Krishna book, we see the other example how there was a big fight between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna. So Shiva had a devotee, Banasura, and this Banasura had become very strong and puffed up, and he had pleased Lord Shiva by his tapasya. And once when Lord Shiva was doing his dance, Banasura with his 1,000 arms was playing drums and different musical instruments to help assist Lord Shiva in his dancing. So Lord Shiva was very pleased and he benedicted him. He said, whatever boon you want, you can ask me, I'll give you. And this Banasura, he asked that, you please protect my city whenever I'm in need, whenever I'm in battle. You please come and support me, be part of my army and fight against the enemy. And this Banasura, he had like 1,000 arms. And he was like so powerful, and he couldn't find any match in the whole universe for him. So he came back to Lord Shiva and he said, although you've given me this boon of 1,000 arms, I feel like it's like a burden. I can't find anyone who can compete with him. Except for you, I can't find anyone in the whole universe. Lord Shiva said, don't worry, soon someone will come and cut down your false pride and ego. So then Krishna came and fought with this Banasura. And then Shiva, obviously, he had promised Banasura that whenever you're in need, I'll come and support you. So then Shiva, he came and fought on the side of Banasura. And along with Shiva was Shiva's sons, Ganesh, Kartikeya, all the ghosts and, all the ghostly associates of Lord Shiva. They all took side of Banasura and they're fighting against Krishna and Krishna's army, the Kshatriyas of Dwarka. So then there was a big fight, and Krishna and Shiva, they fought also. But as we all know from Krishna book, that Krishna very easily defeated Lord Shiva. And so like this, we see many instances how in Bhagavatam, we see how Krishna shows his superiority over Lord Shiva. And same with Brahma, we see the classical example of Brahma Vimohan Leela. And after Brahma, he comes to senses, he offers very beautiful prayers actually. And there's a whole chapter in Krishna book, Prayers of Lord Brahma, that he offers after he comes to his senses. And in one of those verses, he says exactly the same thing. He says that, there might be many people out there who say, oh, I know God, I know Krishna, I know everything about him. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't know anything about you. And Lord Brahma says that someone, after many, many millions and millions of years, might finally come to count the particles of sand, on planet Earth, or the particles of dust. But one can never come to calculate or conceive of your transcendental attributes, your transcendental glories. So the same thing, Brahma, he himself gets the realization, he says. And another pastime I was thinking was this, once Brahma, he comes to meet Krishna in Dwarka, and then he's stopped at the door by the doorkeeper. And Brahma tells the doorkeeper, go and tell Krishna, that Brahma has come to meet him. And then Krishna, when he hears the doorkeeper, say this message, Krishna tells the doorkeeper, go back and ask him, which Brahma is this who has come to see me? So then the doorkeeper asks, Krishna is asking, which Brahma you are? And then the doorkeeper comes back to Krishna. And then Brahma replies, he's thinking in his mind, why is Krishna asking which Brahma? There's only one Brahma. I am the master of this universe. I am the creator. From me, all living beings came. Where is the second Brahma? Why is Krishna asking this question? But anyway, he said, tell him the four-headed Brahma has come. And then Krishna says, okay. And then they come, and then he offers his obeisances. And then Brahma tells Krishna, Krishna is sitting on his throne in Dwarka. And Brahma asks, I have one question, my Lord, When I came, why did you ask which Brahma is there? I'm the only Brahma in the universe. Why are you asking like that? And then Krishna says, wait. And then Krishna, he invites all the Brahmas from all the different universes in the material creation. And then suddenly Brahma is seeing that one Brahma is coming with 10 heads, another Brahma is coming with 20 heads, another Brahma is coming with 100 heads, another Brahma is coming with 1,000 heads, some Brahma is coming with 10,000 heads, another Brahma is coming with 100,000 heads. And when he's seeing all this, he's just like completely bewildered, completely astonished. Actually, it's given, this story is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's given that actually our Brahma has the least number of heads. So all the other Brahmas, they had more heads, and some of them had like 10,000, 100,000 heads. So you can just imagine how bewildered Brahma would be. And Chaitanya Charitamrita explains how Brahma was feeling like a fly amongst elephants. So you can just imagine yourself as a fly, and then there's a big elephant next to you. How would you feel? Just completely tiny, insignificant. That's how Brahma was feeling. So Brahma was completely bewildered. Actually, it's given that based on the number of heads the Brahma has, that's how big the universe is. So Prabhupada explains how our universe has four-headed Brahma. That's why the diameter of the universe is 4 billion miles. So then in other universes, let's say 10-headed Brahma, the diameter would be, that many billion miles. 100,000 head Brahma, inconceivably large. So based on the number of heads the Brahma has, that's how big the universe is. So in this way, Prabhupada explains that actually in the whole material creation, at the moment we're in the smallest universe. Our universe is the smallest, and our Brahma has the least number of heads. And then so Brahma is saying, from all around, all these Brahmas are coming, and then all of them come down, and all of them offer obeisances to Krishna, who's sitting on the throne in Dwarka. And as all of them are offering obeisances, they are helmets. So, all the Brahmas, they have helmets. So there's all these countless Brahmas, and all these countless Brahmas have, like, the combined heads in the room are like infinite. And there's like an infinite number of golden helmets or crowns, and all of them, they bow down. And as they bow down, naturally, when the metal it hits the floor, there'll be a nice vibration, ting, ting. So Prabhupada explains that when all the Brahmas, they offered obeisances, there was a beautiful melodious sound of the metal hitting the ground. And there was a very beautiful transcendental vibration, very soothing and pleasing to the ear. You can just imagine, like millions of helmets just hitting the ground at the same time. All around you hear ting, 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 and all the combined sound together was like a very beautiful transcendental sound, Prabhupada explains. So in this way, we see how Krishna, so many times in the Shastras, he shows his superiority over Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ekala Ishvara Krishna or Sabritya. There is only one Ishvara, there's only one master, that's Krishna. Everyone else is Krishna's servants. They might be Brahma, they might be this, Indra, that person. Everyone else is a servant. Even Lord Balram. Lord Balram also sees himself as Krishna's servant. Mahavishnu, everyone sees themselves. Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu, they all see themselves as Krishna's servant. And this we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's one instance where Advaita Acharya, in CC it explains, that he used to jump up and down, chanting, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya. And he used to feel so much great transcendental bliss. And Advaita Acharya, obviously, he's none other than Mahavishnu. So, and Lord Balram, Lakshmi Devi, they all see themselves as servants of Krishna. It's mentioned that in CC, that all the incarnations of Godhead, they take more pleasure in serving Krishna as a menial servant than they take in being an incarnation and doing some pastime. So, Mahavishnu, Balram, Lakshmi Devi, Varahadev, all these incarnations, all these expansions from Krishna, they get the highest bliss when they're engaged in serving Krishna, more than when they're doing Leela in the material world. So, serving Krishna, being a humble, menial servant of Krishna, that's the topmost pleasure, which even Lord Balram does or sorts out for Lakshmi Devi, all the great personalities of the universe. So again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ekala Ishvara Krishna or Sabritya. Krishna is the only supreme Lord and Master. Everyone else, material creation, spiritual world, wherever, everyone else is Krishna's servant. So this fact is again and again established in the Bhagavatam. So then the next point Prabhupada explains in the purport is like the main theme is how topics about Krishna, Krishna Katha, anything in relation with Krishna's name, form, pastimes, activities, is transcendental, which means that one can go on hearing again and again. One can go on engaging in the same activity again and again, and one can never get tired of it. There is no satiation. Just like Prabhupada writes, in anything material, after some time you get tired of it, and you want to leave that thing and go to something new. But in spiritual life, one can keep on doing the same thing again and again, because it's transcendental. So this is not something theoretical, we can practically experience from our own spiritual life. Like one thing I was thinking about, I remember a few years ago, it was Nrsimha Chaturdasi was coming up. So usually when festivals come up, what I do, I download some lectures of my Guru Maharaj. So Nrsimha Chaturdasi coming next week, then I'll go on ISKCON Desire Tree, download, 3-4 lectures of Nrsimha Chaturdasi my Guru Maharaj gave. Okay. One will be 2010, one will be 1999, in different years. And then leading up to the festival, I'll listen to those lectures, to get into the mood for the festival. So I remember maybe 2 years ago, Nrsimha Chaturdasi was coming, and I downloaded maybe 4 or 5 lectures of my Guru Maharaj that he had given in different years on Lord Nrsimha Day, on Nrsimha Chaturdasi. So I played one, this was all happening maybe in the matter of few days. In few days, I listened to all the lectures. So I listened to one lecture, and he was talking about, same pastime, Lord Nrsimha Day, Prahlad Maharaj. And I was listening, and I was feeling, so much happiness and bliss just hearing the pastimes. Then again, I listened to the next lecture, and then I listened to the next lecture. And each time I'm listening to a lecture, I'm feeling the same happiness. And one time it suddenly hit me, how come I'm feeling so much happiness just maybe I'm listening to the same pastime, 3, 4 times already, just in a matter of few days. The same pastime of Lord Nrsimha Dev killing Hiranyaksha, Prahlad Maharaj, Galinding, Nrsimha Dev. The same pastime I listened, over and over again in 3, 4 days. How come I'm still feeling so much happy? Usually if you hear the same thing over and again, you just bored, you don't want to hear it again. So how is it? Then I got the realization that actually, this pastimes of Krishna, they're actually transcendental. Then I was thinking to myself that what about my Guru Maharaj, He's been in bhakti for, more than 40 years. How many times would he have heard the pastime of Lord Nrsimha Dev and Prahlad Maharaj? How many times would he have heard Lord Nrsimha Dev cutting open Hiranyakashipu? And how many times would he have given class on Nrsimha Dev? Hundreds of times he would have heard the same pastime. Hundreds of times he would have given the same class on the same pastime. But still, if you listen to his classes, you see him laughing and enjoying so much, reciting the same pastime, which is heard 100 times, and the same pastime which is talked about 100 times. So how can one person just go on hearing the same old story again and again, and keep on giving classes on the same old story? That means there's something different. It's not material, it's spiritual. So in this way, if we look into our spiritual life, all of us will get this realization that actually Krishna Katha, Krishna's pastimes, His holy name is actually transcendental. There's no such, it's not something material. For something material, just after hearing 2, 3 times, we'll get fed up. We won't want to hear it again. We want to something new, something different. But in spiritual life, everything is full of bliss, and one can go on hearing again and again. So we can just experience this in our own spiritual life. It's not something theoretical, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prataksha Bhagavam Dharmyam Susukam Kartam Avyam. Prataksha, that this devotional service, this bhakti, which I'm going to tell you now, Arjuna, you can practically realize it. It's not something theoretical. You can practically experience it in your own life. And Susukam Kartam Avyam, that it is performed joyfully. It's always fun and blissful. And just even a few days ago, Ghanshyam Prabhu, he took us to a class by Lal Govind Prabhu. It was somewhere past Liverpool in a place called Austral. And although the class was in Hindi, and my Hindi is not so good, but still, the Prabhu was giving such nice class from Ramayana that even though, and Ghanshyam Prabhu's Hindi is also not good. He's from South India, they only speak Tamil there. No one speaks Hindi. So our only Hindi is just from watching Bollywood movies. So we know very little. But still, we're sitting in the class, and just based on context and just knowing, we could still understand the class. And the class was Prabhu was giving such nice class, it was so absorbing, you couldn't even notice the time flying. Everyone's just completely fixed and just hearing, the pastimes of Lord Ram. And everyone's so absorbed. And then finally the class finishes. And I'm looking at my watch, it's 9:45. And I was like, what, 2 hours just went by like that? Sometimes you probably have that realization. You just get absorbed in doing some kind of service, hearing Krishna Katha or Kirtan, and 1 hour will go by, 2 hours will go by, and it will just feel like just a few minutes has passed, just 10 minutes or 5 minutes have passed. So that feeling I got a few days ago, the class was so absorbing, and you could have just gone on, I could have just gone on listening to the class till midnight, past midnight, and you wouldn't feel tired, nothing. It was so nice actually. So everyone, has that experience in their own spiritual life. It could be kirtan or class. So in this way, we get a small glimpse, of what is it like to have, real taste for the holy name, real taste for Krishna Katha. From this, we can understand how Maharaj Parikshit, it is mentioned Maharaj Parikshit, when he was cursed, he just decided, now I'm going to die in 7 days. I'm just going to fast till death. I'm just going to sit on the bank of Ganges and just hear Krishna Katha. So it's mentioned for 7 days, 7 nights, he didn't eat anything. He didn't sleep. He didn't drink any water. So complete fasting for 7 days. But the fire of hunger wasn't coming. He was so absorbed in the class, in the Bhagavatam class from Sukadeva Goswami, that all this hunger and all these external things didn't disturb him. And we have a small glimpse of that. Sometimes you attend some nice class, and you'll be so absorbed that you just completely forget everything else. And you're just so absorbed in the class, you forget everything else, and time will fly like that. 1 hour will go by, 2 hours will go by, and at the end of class, you look at your watch, whoa, 2 hours has just gone by like that. And you feel like only 5 minutes have passed. So we get a Krishna, rather Gopinath, they give us a small glimpse of that, a small glimpse of the taste. Obviously, pure devotees, they have so much taste. It's given in CC. Rupa Goswami, one of the head of the 6 Goswamis, he recites a verse in which he says, that I wish I had millions of years to hear the holy name, and I wish I had millions of tongues to chant the holy name of the Lord. So that's when we come to the pure devotional platform, this strong desire to chant Krishna's glory, strong desire to hear Krishna's glory will become so strong that one will get that feeling, oh, I wish I had 1 million years, 2 years is not enough. I wish I had 1 million tongues so I can chant with 1 million, Krishna's glories with 1 million tongues. So by Prabhupada's mercy, we are actually getting some taste of that, we're getting some glimpse. And if we keep on practicing, our taste for Krishna Katha, our taste for devotional service of the holy name will continue like that also. And like I was mentioning before, this is something not theoretical. All of us have had this experience. How Krishna consciousness is blissful, how there's no satiation. Otherwise, why would we keep on coming to the temple? Keep on attending Bible class. Why would we keep on chanting Hare Krishna if there wasn't something, transcendental? How can we keep on chanting the same 3 syllables again and again and again, day in, day out, day in and after? And the next question is, how can we increase the taste, Yes, I have some taste, how can we increase? So, it's given in Upadeshamrita by Rupa Goswami. He explains how at the beginning one might not have taste because he's affected by the disease of jaundice. So jaundice is such a disease that because of this condition, that anything sweet you put in your mouth, it will taste like bitter. And the cure for that disease is to eat the same sugar candy. The same sugar candy that's tasting bitter to you, that same sugar candy is the cure for the disease. And the cure is you just keep on eating and the disease of jaundice will go away. So similarly, although at the moment our taste might not be so high, as Rupa Goswami, that, oh, I wish I had millions of years. Many times when we chant, we fall asleep, But although our taste might not be so high, but if we just keep on sticking to the process, just like the person with jaundice, as he keeps on eating the sugar candy, the disease goes away. And one day, finally, he tastes the sweetness of the sugar candy. So same, if we keep practicing, the taste will come. Also, another thing I was thinking about is, that's obviously the prescribed method is to just keep on performing bhakti, the taste will come naturally as you get purified. But there is a fast track. If you want to accelerate the process and get more taste very quickly, then the Shastras give the example that we need to serve the great devotees of the Lord. Because when we serve the pure devotees of the Lord, the great devotees, what actually happens is all the good qualities that the person whom we're serving has, all those good qualities will rub up on us. Because that devotee will be pleased, oh, this devotee is serving me so nicely, then he will give us, they'll give us their blessings, and when they give us their blessings, all their qualities, good qualities, we'll acquire also. So this we see, like earlier on in this canto, with Narad Muni. He was just the son of a maidservant. Prabhupada explains, he didn't go to Gurukul, he had no education, nothing. What was his devotional background? Nothing. He was just the son of a maidservant, he was uneducated, didn't go to Gurukul, nothing like that. But still, he became such a great elevated devotee. How? By serving the Mahabhagavats. During the Chaturmas period, only 4 months, he only had 4 months association with these Mahabhagavats. But just by 4 months of sincere service to these Mahabhagavats, Bhagavatam explains that he got taste, for Krishna Katha, he got taste for the holy name. And then after they left, then he started practicing devotional service. And then next life, obviously, he became Narad Muni. the eternal liberated spaceman. So in the second chapter of this canto also there is one verse, Shushrusradhanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchi Shan Mahat Sevanam Vipra Punya Tirtha Nisevana. So this verse it's saying Vasudeva Kata Ruchi. So Vasudeva Kata, Krishna Kata, Ruchi. How do you get the taste for that? Shan Mahat Sevanam Vipra. By Sevanam to who? To the Vipra, to the devotees of the Lord. So when we serve the devotees of the Lord, we acquire the taste for hearing about Krishna. How do we acquire the taste? Because these devotees we're serving, they have the taste. And when we serve them, they'll give us the blessings, so all their good qualities will be bestowed upon us. So that's the fast track. Obviously, we can practice bhakti on our own. Okay, slowly we get purified, acquire taste. But if we want to acquire the taste more quickly, then we should go out, and seek opportunities to serve the devotees of the Lord. And great devotees of the Lord doesn't mean, my Guru Maharaj jokes, It's not that a great devotee, a pure devotee is someone who comes by airplane and lands and stays in for a few days and then goes away, My Guru Maharaj says, in our community we have so many great devotees. We shouldn't think, okay, only if someone comes, with a danda, someone comes by airplane from the other side of the world, okay, they're like some pure devotee. But no, if my Guru Maharaj says, we should just take a very humble position and stop being so egoistic and just see how everyone is so nicely practicing devotional service. See the good in everyone and serve all the Vaishnavas. All the devotees, although they might have some anathas, they have many great qualities. And by serving all these great devotees, we will slowly acquire their qualities actually. So it's not that, okay, only if some Maharaj or some initiating guru comes, okay, only then we serve him. But my Guru Maharaj says, just in your own community, there's so many examples of great devotees. You just go out and serve. Everyone has some good qualities. Prabhupada says we should be like a honeybee, not a fly. So a fly, he'll always go to the garbage, and the honeybee will just search out for the essence, the nectar in all the flowers. So Prabhupada says in the same way, we should try and see the good in everyone and try and acquire that good. And not look for garbage, not look for faults, anathas like that. Actually, it's mentioned that when we see a fault in another person, then what happens is that in our mind we start meditating. Okay, this person is doing like that. He does things like that. She does like that. And what happens after meditating on that anatha of another devotee? Slowly, that same anatha will come to us also. But just by meditating on that. In the same way, the opposite is true. When we see a good quality in another devotee, and we think, wow, this devotee, he cooks so nicely, or he distributes books so nicely, this devotee is so kind and generous, he's always going out and serving devotees. Just by thinking about that, contemplating in our mind, meditating on that same quality of the other devotee, we'll start also acquiring, just by thinking of that. So if we're really intelligent, if we want to advance very quickly in devotional service, then what should we do? We should always just see the good in everyone and meditate on that. Okay, this devotee, he does things like that. This devotee, he does things like that. And any anathas are there, you just overlook. Just like Prabhupada, he gives I think in Bhagavad Gita, one purport, he quotes this verse of the moon, that everyone glorifies the moon, No one picks fault on the moon, or there's this little shades of, smudges on the moon like that. No, the moon is the moon, it gives so much beautiful light. So instead of seeking the faults, we should seek the good qualities. And my Guru Maharaj, there's one book by him, it's called Bhakti Bhava. In that book he mentions that when we see another devotee doing something nice, and just in our mind, when we appreciate that okay, this devotee, he does this so nicely, or this devotee, he does that nicely, what actually happens is that the super soul in the heart, he notices that. And the super soul in the heart, being pleased of how we're appreciating another devotee's good qualities, the super soul in our heart, it starts becoming very active. And it starts transforming our heart, so that same good quality we're seeing in the other devotee, we also start acquiring. So my Guru Maharaj mentions the super soul, he's not sleeping in our heart. He's always helping us transform our heart, helping us progress. But for that, we have to do the right things. Instead of looking for faults, we should look for the good in other devotees. My Guru Maharaj, he gives one nice analogy for sadhu sangha. He says, association of devotees is like having a mirror in front of you. So just like, I can't see my face now. Only if I go in front of a mirror, I can see, okay, oh no, I'm getting a beard. I look really bad, okay, I need to shave my beard. Or my hair is becoming too long, okay, I need to shave my hair. Or I don't look so clean, I need to take a shower, I have, mud marks over my face and body. So only if you have a mirror can you actually see yourself fully, and you can see, okay, I have this fault, this is a problem, I have too long beard, my hair is growing too long, this and that. But if there's no mirror, then you're not aware of that. You just think everything is fine and everything is normal. Everything is, hunky-dory. But only when you go in front of a mirror can you actually see things as they are. So in the same way, my Guru Maharaj explains that the Sangha of devotees, when we associate with devotees, it's like having a mirror in front of us. When we see other devotees, let's say we go out on book distribution with other devotees, and we see other devotees distributing books so nicely, then you get a realization, actually, I'm not such a great book distributor. This devotee is distributing books so nicely, the way he talks to people, the way he does things, it's so nice. I'm not such a great, book distributor as I thought I was. Let me also, try and become like him. Or you come to the temple room to chant japa, and you're chanting amongst other devotees, and you see one devotee, very nicely chanting, very attentively, very sincerely, just sitting in one spot and chanting. Then you realize, oh, okay, so this is how I should chant. Look at me, I'm just spacing out, thinking of this, thinking of that, falling asleep. But these devotees over there, they're chanting so nicely. Okay, let me also, do like that. Let me also chant like that. And if we're not in the association of devotees, we're always by ourselves, then we think we're perfect, There's no mirror in front of us, we can't see our faults. We can't see where we need to improve. We think we're the best. We're the best book distributor, we're the best chanter, we're the best cook, we're the best at giving class, the best sloka reciter. We think we're the best at everything. But if we're always surrounding ourselves with devotees, it's like a mirror. Each devotee is like a mirror. They'll be good at something, and when we see them doing, cooking so nicely, or doing puja, worshipping nicely, displaying Vaishnava qualities, then we get the realization, wow, this devotee is so great, he's doing this nicely. What am I in comparison with him, He's doing this service so nicely. Let me also, try and change myself, work on myself, so I can do this service nicely, just like him. So in this way, my Guru Maharaj mentions that the Sangha of devotees is like having a mirror. And this mirror will protect us. Otherwise, as I was explaining before, if there's no mirror, then we think everything is fine. We can't see that we're getting a beard, we can't see we're getting long hair, we can't see that we're so dirty and unclean. But if we go in front of the mirror, then we'll see all our anathas also, my Guru Maharaj mentions. Devotees will point out, Prabhu, I don't think, Prabhu, you're falling asleep when you're chanting, Maybe you're not realizing, maybe you should walk and chant, Otherwise, you're just snoozing off while you're doing japa. Or Prabhu, in that time when you were talking to that devotee, you were a bit rash, he might have got offended, maybe you should apologize, Otherwise it could be Vaishnava pride, not good for your spiritual life. But if we didn't have the Sangha of devotees, then there's no protection also. We won't be able to see our own anathas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also explains this in CC. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, okay, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we get the seed of devotional service, the seed of bhakti. Brahmanda Brahmante Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lada Beach. So we get the seed of Bhakti Lada by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. And then to grow the creeper of devotional service, we need to water the seed. And that watering process is hearing and chanting. Hearing Bhagavatam, chanting, Hare Krishna, like that. And as we perform devotional service, the seed, it starts slowly growing. And it's called, like I was listening to one class, Radhashyam Prabhu was saying, it's called the creeper of devotional service. It's not called the plant of devotional service. Why? Because a plant, it can grow on its own strength. But if it's a creeper, it can't just grow on its own strength. It has to grab on to something solid, like a tree or a wall, you'll see. And then it will twirl itself around that tree and go around, or on the wall. It needs some support. It can't just grow on its own strength. A plant, it will just grow by its own strength. But a creeper is something that takes support of something else, and it grows based on that strength. And devotional service, bhakti is compared to that, because on our own endeavor, on our own strength, we can't make progress. One needs to hold on to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, and only by their mercy can we advance. Okay, Yoga Marg, Jnana Marg, they try to do everything themselves, But in bhakti, we just take the humble stance, and we take full shelter of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath's lotus feet. And by taking firm shelter of lotus feet, then the creeper has something solid to hold on to, then it will grow up and slowly start progressing. Now, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, okay, you start watering the seed, and the creeper is growing, but one has to be careful because there's many animals out there in the bush. Kangaroos can come and start biting on the creeper, small animals like rabbits, and so on. And there's one big animal that can come and just completely ruin the whole garden, and that's the elephant. So the elephant is compared to the Hatimata offense, obviously Vaishnava Prad, which is the most severe of all offenses. Kadam Karamraj, he gives one nice example explaining what Vaishnava Prad is. It's like you've done devotional service, but if you do Vaishnava Prad, it's like your bank account gets frozen. Although you have, let's say, $100,000 in your bank account, if your bank account gets frozen, you can't access a single dollar from that bank account. You might have $100,000, million, $2 million, but once your bank account is frozen, you can't even get a single cent from that bank account. So Vaishnava Prad is like that. You might have done so much devotional service, so much bhakti, acquired so much, but once you do that Prad, that's it. Your bank account is frozen, you can't access that. Until you go and beg forgiveness from that devotee, the bank account will be frozen. So it's considered the most severe. So all these animals that can enter the garden and harm the devotional creeper, that's all compared to different offenses, Seva Prad, and the most grievous is obviously Vaishnava Prad, which is compared to the big elephant. So what should one do to protect himself from these animals which will come into the garden? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says one should build a fence around the garden. And what is this fence? This fence is the association of devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, as long as we have the fence of the association of devotees around us, we'll be protected from these offenses. We'll be protected from the small animals, the Seva Prads, and we'll be protected from the big, Hatimata offense, the elephant offense of Vaishnava Prad. How is this? Because whenever we're doing something wrong, if we're surrounded by devotees, they'll point out, Prabhu, you're doing this wrong. Maybe you should do like this. Prabhu, okay, maybe you're doing this, that. So devotees will correct us. Devotees will help us progress on the right path. And that will help us stay grounded and stable. If there's no offense, then the animals will come. Different offenses will commit. And that's it. The devotional creeper will be harmed. So again, so the two examples of that. One, as I was mentioning, you can see the Sadhu Sangha as a mirror. By taking shelter or associating with other devotees, you see your own faults and you see areas where you can improve. Otherwise, if you're just by yourself, you just think everything is good. You think you're perfect. We think we're the best at this, best at that. But when you associate with other devotees, you get very humbled. By seeing other devotees doing service so nicely, you think, oh wow, these devotees, they're doing so nicely. I wish I could be like that. I need to work on myself and also do like that. And secondly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was mentioning about the fence. It will protect the animals, the offenses, from creeping into our devotional life. And this we see with the example of Maharaj Bharat. It's given that he was on the platform of bhava, which is the preliminary stage before love of Godhead. So just one stage below Krishna Prema. He was such a high level, but still he fell down. And the reason given of what was his fault, where did he go wrong? He was doing his bhajan, everything so nicely. He renounced the kingdom, family, everything. He was just doing his bhajan in some holy place. What did he do wrong? The thing he did wrong is that he went and did devotional service by himself. He didn't do devotional service in the association of other devotees. If there were other devotees around him in an ashram and he was doing service with other devotees, then the other devotees were pointing out, Prabhu, I think you're becoming too attached to this deer, Prabhu, you're slacking off on your japa, you're forgetting to chant your rounds, You're not doing your seva properly, you're not doing your japa properly. I think you're becoming a bit too attached to this deer. But he didn't have anyone around him. He was just doing his bhakti by himself. And that was his mistake. So that's why if we want to be safe, we should always keep ourselves sheltered, in the association of devotees. That's the safest way. And that's the fast track. By not only staying in the association, but also serving the devotees. As I was mentioning before, when we serve other devotees, all the good qualities the other devotees have, they get rubbed off on us. By their blessings, we slowly start acquiring all of the good qualities. And that's the fast track in devotional service. And So that's the main 2 points of this purport. First thing, Prabhupada is explaining how Krishna is the supreme, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, although they might be great, very great and powerful, they're all actually Krishna's servants, and Krishna's glories are so unlimited, even Brahma, Shiva, they can't count, they can't come to the end of Krishna's glories. And the second point Prabhupada is discussing is how Krishna Katha, there is no satiation. One can go on hearing about Krishna and never get tired. Material things, after some time you get bored, you get tired. But in Krishna consciousness, one can keep on doing the same thing again and again. There's one verse in Bhagavad Gita. Yehi samspasa jabhoga dukha yonaya evate adivantaha konteya na tesu ramate buddha. So this is a verse from 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In this verse, Krishna says to Arjuna, Yehi samspasa jabhoga dukha yonaya evate. That the happiness, or when one comes in contact, when the senses come in contact with a sense object, one should understand that that sense object which one is embracing, that sense object is pregnant with suffering. Dukkha yona yo evate. So yona, yo is like Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, literally it means like pregnant. So sense objects, they're pregnant with material suffering. Which means, okay, someone's pregnant, which means sooner or later, they're going to give birth to a child. So the same sense objects we're coming in contact with, although at the start it might feel very pleasurable, sooner or later that same sense object will give birth to material suffering. So that's the nature of material objects. And adi antavantaha konteya, that they have a beginning and an end. So only for a certain time they'll exist, only for a certain time you get pleasure. After that they'll cease to exist. They're very temporary. That's why Krishna explains, one who is wise, he doesn't take delight in such sense objects, in such material happiness. Prahlad Maharaj, he also discusses this in 7th canto, Yan me tunadi griya medi sukham hitucham kanduya yena iva dukkam dukkam. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that this material pleasure is actually sukham hitucham. This sukh that one gets by material sense objects is tucham. It's very insignificant, very small, very tiny. So I was thinking of this point that actually when we go out and do outreach, like every single product out there, you go to Kmart, JB Hi-Fi, Target, whatever shop you take it, you name it, you can go to any shop, all those products out there that you can buy, they're all pregnant with suffering and they all have a beginning and end. You can't enjoy that product forever. After some time you'll get bored and you'll reject that product and you throw it in the bin. Every single out there in the market has a beginning and end. After some time you get tired and you throw it in the bin. And the same product which will give you a little happiness at the start, that same product will be the cause of your suffering. So when we're going out and doing outreach, we are offering people a product which is completely the opposite nature. We're offering people a product which has no beginning and end. We're offering people a product which is always blissful. Out there, different musicians, they produce so many different music. But the songs these great superstars produce, how long can you go on hearing the same song? After some time you get bored of it and you get tired and you reject that song. But we're offering people a song which they can hear for their whole life, for eternity, and they can never get tired of it. So the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the bhajans we sing, the kirtans we sing, they're all transcendental. So understanding this in mind, we should go out and do outreach with great confidence, We're not like Prabhupada when he went to America, the reporters are asking him, what have you come to America for? What are you here to get?